Hi guys, this is Vishalo from Trapport. So in the previous video, we have seen what about the builder, like what exactly this builder is. In this video, we will understand about the style manager, what exactly style manager is and how to use it. So style manager is a layer or a section which appears here on the right hand side, and it basically keeps changing on the basis of which component or which element you are selecting. So if I go to button, it is different. If I go to here, it is different. So basically this is more like a UI layer for implementing design or CSS. So let's quickly walk through all these things. So I have added these buttons, so just remove it. So here, let's see the style manager for this button. Okay, so as soon as I click the button, I can see a panel here. So let's go and walk through all these properties. So one is alignment. So alignment is basically in CSS, it's called float. So whether you want something to be left aligned, right aligned, or no aligned. No aligned means the center. So I say left, you see the button goes to the left. If I click right, the button goes to the right. So if you want to move certain thing within the canvas, so you can use this alignment. You just need to remember that this only moves within the parent component. So let's say if let's say this div is of a half size, so then the button will only move left and right within that parent layer. It will not move across the canvas, right? So since it is of 100% height, it is moving like this. So after that we have display. So display is a display property which is block when you want to access the whole the complete width, display inline, and a lot of display properties. Position is a position attribute of CSS, whether the position of this button is static, fixed, relative to some parent component, sticky basically stick to the top, stick to the bottom, and all those things. Top, left, right, auto, bottom you can ignore, or these are like a bit advanced properties. When you know that okay, this button should be on this much gap from the top or from the right of the left, so I'll just leave it. So dimension is basically height, width, and the minimum height and minimum width, maximum height, and all those things. So let's say I want my button to be 200 pixels, so I just said 200 and pixels px. If I want it to be 200%, obviously 200% is too much, so let's say 20%. So it will take the 20% of the area in which this component is. Or I can see vw is viewport, right? That okay, 20% of whatever is visible on the browser. EM and REM are advanced properties for HTML CSS. You can ignore it. Height is again same, so let's say I say height of 100 pixel, okay, or height of 20%. Okay, so 20% of the page width, or let's say page the parent component, let's say 45%. So it is not increasing because there is a height of this, but let's move it here. So here you can see it is taking 45% height. Now maximum width is something where you want to control that expand the button but don't expand beyond this. So let's say maximum width is, let's say, 300 pixels. So the button will not go beyond that, whatever you give in the height. Even if I get 200%, it will not go beyond 300 pixels. Same thing you can set in percentage, VW, EM, REM. And minimum height is something, there are scenarios when let's say you don't have any data coming, you want your card or your div or the box to take certain height. So you set a minimum height that okay, whatever minimum should be, don't go beyond this. So minimum height, minimum width, maximum width, to control attributes like this. So margin, this is a interesting. So let me remove this button. Okay, so I'll drop button again. So let's say a link component. Okay, I'll just keep it here. So now margin is something, basically it's a gap which you want to give to that component from the top within the parent component. So button is inside a card body. You can see it's card body and then button. So I'll say margin top of, let's say, 20 pixel. So it is 20 pixels from the top, or let's say 100 pixel. So you see it is actually moving. If I'll say 100 pixels from the bottom, so it will come 100 pixels from the bottom. So the height has increased because it needs 100 here and 100 here. Same thing left and right. So let's say 100 to the left and like 100 to the right. Okay, like this. Padding is something which is inside the component. So let's say if I say padding of 30 pixel, then it will keep a space of 30 pixel inside the button. Here you see it's inside. Let me just change the class so that you can see. So ignore the class which I have applied. I'll explain in the next video that what is this. Okay, but for now just see. So here padding is something which you want to apply within the component, and margin is something which gets applied outside of the component. So if I applied padding bottom, it will basically take that space inside the component. And left right again same thing. So left right is let's say I want to 100. So something which is getting inside it. Okay, so I just undo it so that it looks how it was previously. So this is padding margin. Then font, very straightforward, that which font you want to give to the button. Okay, so let's say I have this font, I want to change it. I can just go and change the font. So we have more than 100 font, and you can also apply Google fonts if you want. So this thing basically control how the layer looks like. And then here you control the font size. So as of now it's 20, it can be 30, it can be 40, so as you want. So, and you see it's increasing. This is font weight, normal, bold, semi-bold, medium, and all those things. Letter spacing. So you want to apply some more spacing to the letters, you can just add as much spacing as you want. And then the font style, whether it's italic, non-italic, initial, like inherit from the parent, okay, and all those things. Font color, as of now it's black. You can choose any color of your choice, or you can also give the color code. So let's say I know the color code, I can just go and give it here. So let's say ABC231. Okay, so this is the color. Obviously it's a random color, so you can choose color from here, or if you know the color code, you can actually give the color code. After it's line height, so basically how much height that line should take. So you can, let's say I give 200 pixels, so it will take a bigger height, right? So this is the height in pixel. You can also set it in percentage and all those other properties. Now this is alignment. So like a Google Doc, you align whether the text within the parent should be aligned to left, to the right. So it is different from float. So in float, the component gets moved to left or right, but in the case of alignment, the text within the component moves left and right. So here, if I float this component to left, the whole heading will go to the left or to the right. But when I say alignment, so alignment is the text within the component will move. So if I say text left aligned, you see the text is left aligned. If I say text center aligned, text right aligned, right aligned, and this is justified. So when you have a paragraph and you want to justify it, so it's justified. Now if I want to apply some padding, so let's say I want my text to be left aligned but some padding towards the left so that it do not goes extreme left. So I'll put some padding, let's say 20 pixel px. So here you see it has shifted 20 pixels from the left. So this is padding, margin, left align, right align, text decoration, whether I want it underline, strike through, I don't want it. Then text shadow. So this is if you want to apply some shadow. So let's say I want to apply some shadow towards the x-axis. So 5 pixel shadow, you can see it is the shadow. I can increase it, decrease it as I need. Same thing we can do for shadow toward the top and bottom, which is y-axis, and blur. So let's say I want to blur it, then I can just blur it. So all these are like different styling if you want to do. And then decoration. So this is important, where you want to have some shadow of the box basically. So let's say this is it. I want to have some shadow of 5 pixel. So you see it is actually showing me some shadow. Now opacity. So opacity is basically the visibility. So you can make it invisible, or you can just increase it so that it is more and more visible. So these are all needed when you are building a nice looking UI. So sometimes you want to have some limited visibility, more visibility and all. Right, background. So let's say you want to apply some background to it. So background, we have 3 options. Either you can apply basically you can apply a color or a background image, or a gradient. So this is a gradient. You can choose different gradients, so you can just click it. Let's say I want a orange gradient, so like this. And you can also add breakpoints that okay, from which side to which side. So I've just applied a gradient which goes from orange to yellow, and it's also 90 degrees inside. You can say radial is like this, and repeating radial, okay, and linear, and also direction, whether it's 90 degree, 180 degrees like this, or let's say 0 degree like this. So you can just choose that what should be the degree of the direction of the gradient. Okay, now let's say if you want to put some image, so you can just put some color, so you can just put the color. So this is without gradient, this is regular color. You can give the color code, or you can choose the color from the color picker like this. Okay, and the background image. So let's say you want to give some background image, you can choose a background image. We don't have any image as of now, we'll cover it in the style manager, assets manager. After that, if you want to give background, so same thing, background color, but it's just different section. After that, border. So let's say you want to give some border to the component, so you can just choose a border from here. So let's say border of 2 pixels, or let's say 5 pixel. So here if you see, it has added a border. So you may not be seeing, let me change the color of the border. So I'll just choose this element, go back again to the border, and then just change the color. So let's make it red. Okay, 5 pixel red. So you see it's a red border. If you want to see how this looks like, you can just preview it. So here, this is the border, and this is the text and all those designing which we have done. After that, if you want to see, you want to apply a border radius, maybe you want to put a rounded corners. So you can basically go to this border radius section and then apply a border radius. So let's apply a border radius of 25 pixel. Okay, by default it's pixel, so I just say pixel. So I'll choose this element. Actually it is applied to this div. Let's apply here. So I'll say 25 pixel. Okay, so now you see the corners are rounded. If I go here, this should get rounded. See, it's rounded. Now let's say I want to increase it, so I'll say maybe to 50, or maybe I can make it some percentage. Okay, or maybe let's say 100. So I want more rounded, I can do it 100. So you can increase or decrease as you want. Right, after that it's animation. So we have support of several type of animation like this, flash, bounce. So this animation library, and you can control the duration. So let's say I say 5 second, delay of 0.2 second. So you can play around and see how you want it to be. So here the animation will work as soon as the component loads. You see it's rubber animation, and for 5 seconds and a delay of 0.2 second. Then after that, there are a couple of extra attributes like transition. You want to rotate left and right. You want to apply some filter, some opacity, whether the text, whether it's overflow. So you want it overflow towards the x-axis, y-axis. And after that, there's a full support of flex. So if you know what flex layout is, we'll definitely cover in the coming videos. So you can apply all those flex properties. So this basically gives you the complete capability to play with the HTML and basically the CSS style. You can also set the style on hover, on click, whether you want to apply that property when someone mouse over or when someone click. So let's say I want to have some behavior on click of this button, I can just go and apply the CSS. Then on click of this button, maybe change the color, change the font size, give some feedback so that person know that they've clicked the button. So whatever can be done with CSS can be done on Tripod using the style manager. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you again in the next video. Bye bye.